Hello everyone, welcome back to Fixing with the Kid. I want to introduce you to my next long-term project, and it's going to require a lot of work. You've seen me work on a couple other tractors. One video hadn't been posted yet, but I have a 1952 Farmall Super A and I have a 1952 Farmall Cub. This is a 1950 Farmall Super A. And as a project, it's got a lot that needs work. It is in desperate need of a lot of attention. So simply as a project, you probably would walk away from this one. I mean, both the front tires and front rims are completely gone. The engine is locked up. The transmission was locked up. The console has rusted loose. There is rust and pitting all over the tractor. Haven't even thought about the starter or anything else. It ran when it was parked. So why in the world would I take on a project like this when I already have a Farmall Super A over there that runs? Well, as bad a shape as this tractor is in, there's another reason why I'm taking on this project. This tractor was purchased by my grandfather, used in roughly 1959-1960. He farmed with it. Then my uncle and my dad shared it. They farmed with it. They gave it to my mom's brother, my other side of the family's uncle. Then he had it at his shop. And then he moved the tractor to another uncle's house where it sat, covered up with a tarp until the tarp rotted off of it, and it set out in the rain. Now this particular tractor doesn't have a muffler, has a straight pipe, but the problem is a hole has rusted into the pipe, letting water into the engine. So I'm not sure how bad it is. I'm going to go ahead and say it's going to be bad. But another thing about this tractor that makes it sentimental is I learned how to drive on this tractor. As a child, this tractor was used to disc our land to plant, and I learned how to drive on this tractor. So a lot of stuff is seized up on it. The engine, the transmission was seized. It's now free. There's water in the transmission. I'm sure there's probably water in the oil. I'm going to start getting into this thing. I'm not going to film everything. I'm going to bring you back when I'm to a stopping point. But the radiator has issues. So I'm going to pull the radiator. I'm going to pull this cover, probably the manifold, and I'm going to pull the valve cover. Then I'll bring you back to see the condition of the valves. Then I'm going to pull the head off of it, and we'll get into a little bit deeper. So this is just an overview of what work we have ahead of us. This is not going to be a quick fix. This is going to be a long-term, loving restoration, and my goal is to see this thing running and driving again, and shine it up and paint it as much as possible. So I'll bring you along for the ride, and let's get into it. All right, I want you to get a look at the amount of rust in these cylinders. I don't know, we're gonna try. Manifold is off, and that's what I found. And it's just caked in rust. Something's been rusting. We'll keep digging. I did break two studs trying to get it off. One there, one there. Let it begin. Well, just like you would expect, more rust. Try to get this rocker arm assembly off. Get these push rods out. We'll pull the head. Okay, I took the two studs that were on the rocker arm assembly there, and then this nut here, and took the whole rocker arm assembly off. I've got the push rods. I'm going to take them off and label them where they go. Then I'll take these bolts out and we'll take the head off. And you can see these valves are rusted. There's a couple of them rusted open. That one, and I believe that one. Okay, I've got my push rods out. I've got some holes drilled in a Tupperware lid or a storage lid, and I've got them in order that they came out so I can keep track of them. They're rusty as well. I see a theme on this tractor. All right, here's what we got. That one's the worst one. That one's not too good. I'm going to try to hone those a little bit. Put some penetrating oil down there and see if I can knock them down, get them to come back up. All right, by using a block of wood and a hammer, the engine is now freed up. I just used a block of wood and some penetrating oil, and they have moved up and down several times using the hand crank. Tomorrow I'm going to see if this starter has any life left in it. If not, I'll pull the one off my other Farmall and see if we can spin this thing over, clean up the rest of the cylinder walls, and see how they look, see if there's any scoring. I did get the starter to turn over a little bit, and stuff started coming out of it, and this is what was in it. So I've taken the end cap out. We're going to blow it out and we'll go from there. Alright, I took the starter off, took the starter apart, and cleaned up all the debris that had collected. I've got penetrating oil. I've cleaned and sort of polished the walls, pulled out all the rust, vacuumed out the rust, cleaned all that out. So I've got the battery hooked up to the starter. Let's see what happens. There you go. First part done. We got to work on the top end, but I can get those moved up now. I can finish cleaning up the tops of those, but they're get you down in here where you can see. Got the light on. Still a little bit of surface rust, but the cylinder walls don't look bad. There's no ridge, no wear ridge on the top. Those I can polish, clean the rest of that off, but engine's not stuck anymore.